with that sound.
Yeah. We should probably just record. You're recording.
Oh my God, he's...
I just did it wrong.
My goodness. That's embarrassing. Oh,
There it is. That was fun. So much fun.
that's a good pop.
I was watching some Hans Zimmer videos on how he made the soundtrack and instruments for Dune. It was really cool. So I'm just...
Oh, it was from Dune they did this. They did that sound. I thought you said Interstellar.
Well, on that video, he was talking about what he did for Inception.
Oh, and jeez, man. Oh, my goodness.
But, yeah, really cool stuff. Even though the first time we saw Dune, we weren't that impressed with the soundtrack. We had a lot of critiques. Even though the sounds and the timbres are really cool, I think we're pretty sensitive to certain things when, you know, your average audience is just like, whoa, cool. But we didn't like how strong and forceful that lady's voice was in that. It's just like, oh my gosh, does she have to have that little scream at the end? It's like almost too much.
Yeah.
A little too forceful.
And it's how it just kind of like, I mean, I'm all for using music impactfully.
Yeah.
But then I feel like most of the time you don't want to be drawing too much attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when that kept coming in, and I felt like it was a little overplayed too. One time would have been good. I felt like maybe it was in there a few times.
It was.
And so it was a little bit like, it took me out a little bit. I'm like, what?
Yeah, a little jarring.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a little much.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I felt. Like, I get it that the movie's epic.
Yeah.
But I felt like even for an epic movie, I'm like, that's a little much.
I was trying to put myself in the shoes of Hans Zimmer or maybe the musicians who are on their computers during COVID, and they had to kind of like work in their own spaces in their own homes. So they didn't have a lot of like person-to-person connection. They kind of had to like send each other files. I can just imagine Hans Zimmer's got that track laid down from all those female vocalists and these really impactful takes. And him just, it's almost like he's creating such powerful music, you almost don't need images to it because it's an experience on its own. But then when you have really powerful images and really powerful music, it's just a little bit too much. You want, especially with Hans Zimmer, he's just that epic composer. And sometimes you'd wish there was a little bit more subtlety. Thomas Newman is my favorite composer because he's minimalistic. He's got this emotion, kind of these droning sounds, these Dorian sort of sounds.
What was his name?
Thomas Newman. He did Shawshank, Green Mile, Road to Perdition, 1917.
Let me see if I can grab the Dune clip so people know what we're talking about here.
You could probably say Gom Jabbar scene.
Let's see. And by the way, I just watched Dark Knight Rising last night. It's been
a while.
I was commenting on the soundtrack about that as well, also being Hans Zimmer.
Right.
And just thought it was really cool how I was saying to Sylvie how it's just so cool that he basically modern day gave us the Batman theme.
Yeah.
But in that unique of that, with that clunky,
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that's just brilliant. You know, it's just genius stuff.
Totally. Do you have a favorite Hans Zimmer soundtrack? Any movies in particular?
Oh, Interstellar, without a doubt.
See, Interstellar, he has a lot of space there. Even though at times it gets really intense, he draws it out and builds. And it's just like, even if you played on piano, I think it's even A minor. It's just kind of all white keys. So you got the like A minor, and then you've got the F major 7. It's all just a bunch of spacious, really melodic, open white keys. And it's like, yes, it's like, it's enjoyable to listen to, enjoyable to play. Yeah, beautiful stuff. I actually, after listening to Jordan Peterson talk about Carl Jung in one of his lectures, I had to go rewatch and rent the original Lion King. And I've never cried so hard at an animated movie because it was so deep after hearing the lecture. And Oh my gosh. I think The Lion King's my favorite Hans Zimmer.
Oh, I didn't know he did Lion King?
It's such a simple melody, but these powerful, like, boom, these like huge drums. Dun, 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 dun. And Simba's reclaiming Pride Rock in the rain, just like in slow motion. You're just like, oh my God, crying my eyes off.
But he didn't do the entire soundtrack.
No, he
just did
collaborated
okay.
with Lebo M, who's an African singer and performer. I think he did the Nazawelia, and he helped compose. But definitely that main powerful score, that reclaiming of Pride Rock, like this, nice, dude. Hold on, listen for the scream at the end. Just a little too much. Like, okay.
You know,
it's just like she's grumbling and she's building, and then she gets the vibrato and ends off with a huh.
Yeah. But I have no idea if that got picked up on the...
It sure did sound like it did.
I mean, we heard it in our headphones.
Yeah, but maybe it didn't, huh?
That'd be great if it just did that automatically. I didn't put anything... But that was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
If you heard that was from Dune. We back to Dune. I pulled that up perfectly, by the way. Just 5 minutes too late.
You know, it seems like we're losing movie theaters, but I really hope that it's like a classic nostalgic thing they keep around. Because there's been a few times this year, Brian and I had gone to go to like a big blockbuster movie of the year, and we tried to get tickets in advance. We are the only two human beings in the theater. Only two living organisms in the theater, I think. Besides, fungus and bacteria and popcorn.
You're right, and I'm just gonna one last thing about that Dune thing, because now I feel bad, because now that I heard it all loud in my headphones with like high quality, I'm like, that actually sounded pretty damn good, didn't it?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was thinking that the Hans Zimmer just has the track without any images, just laid out in front of him on the monitor, and he's looking at the monitor and these sounds he's already laid out, and he's like, wow, that's emotional, that's good. But then it's just. Yeah, I think you and me like subtlety a little bit more. Yeah.
As a standalone track, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah, the way it was kind of put in, it's like I felt like it was put into the movie where it was already, you didn't need anything there. You could have just, I would have been happier with just space, and that would have had more impact. Mm-hmm. The movie already had enough dramaticism. You're right. You actually mentioned this. You said it perfectly. When the visuals and the story is already so dramatic, trying to match it with the music's almost just too much.
Yeah, overkill.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's really amazing when you have really powerful music over something that's seemingly uneventful in the images.
Like every commercial now that we have.
Yeah, but I'm thinking a little bit more dark and dimension and like melancholy. Like if you have like a gray tone of like a spacious, field where there's gray skies and a man staring down into the field, like a wheat field, like in Gladiator. And so like there's nothing going on. There's just beautiful images in slow motion, but then that music comes in and there's all this dimension, all this meaning that comes with it.
Because the visuals gave the space.
Yeah.
And the story.
Exactly. And the music now has liberty to bring you to a deeper dimension if it wants to.
But I guess now they would argue the people that made Dune and made that decision, they'd be like, but yeah, dude, we put that part in specifically when there was nothing happening. It was just space.
Yeah.
So if they put them in the right places, it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I guess it would just be, in this case, objectively, you could say it's just creative difference of opinion.
Totally.
Yeah, but it's not a necessarily bad choice they made.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, yeah.
Another thing I wanted to express is that when we saw Dune in the theater, there was a lot of reverb and bounce in the sound, and it was a projected screen, so it wasn't full bright color. It was, it was thrown against a far wall. But my roommate was watching it on HBO Max at home, and it was outstandingly, stunningly beautiful. The visuals, it was like, this is a completely different movie.
Was that the first time you got to see it on screen?
Yeah.
Because I told you we watched it back, and I'm like, I like it way better
Me
just
too.
watching it.
Oh my gosh. It's so much more tasteful, artful, and it's like, oh my gosh, the color and the sound, even the mix, the music mix seemed like so different. It's like, this is a completely different film.
That's because it was messed up when we saw it, the audio.
Oh gosh.
We only had everything was heavy to the left.
You're right.
That kind of ruined it a little bit.
I saw it twice in the theater. It might have even been the same theater.
Yeah.
Shoot. And then seeing it on HBO Max, like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And even though my brother was like, I saw Dune, bro, that's freaking fire. It's freaking awesome. I was like, yeah, I wasn't that impressed. Sorry to say. And then I saw it on HBO Max. Oh my God. It's beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm just so bummed we got to wait for the second half.
Yeah.
And even Sylvie liked it.
Well, that's saying a lot.
Did you like it?
know what?
Dune?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like she liked it that much. Yeah. But
This is the best movie I've ever seen, but I don't like.
What is the best movie you've ever seen?
I don't know. Would have to think of
Dirty Dancing.
Favorites?
I'm just kidding. Every the answer from I'm sorry, that would be generalizing.
I gotta say, I rewatched Shawshank and The Green Mile within maybe a week period or 2 weeks. Good God, man. It's like the reason, just storytelling at its human experience, where you have so much heaviness, so much darkness, and such a span of so many human emotions, so artfully done. I've seen that movie so many times, but I don't know. It's been years, and then rewatching them both again, I couldn't hold myself back from crying and feeling such depth.
Man.
It's unbelievable. It's like that director, he found his niche, he found his voice, even if he's only done 2 or 3 movies in his life. It's like, I got to do Stephen King stories that has to be about prisons, has to be about death and liberation. Gosh, incredible films.
Would you say you liked one better than the other?
Shawshank has always been my favorite of the two, but I was really surprised at seeing my emotional reaction to The Green Mile this time. I remember the first few times I saw it, I'm like, okay, it's a little bit long. It's not quite getting the feelings right. It's not quite as good as Shawshank. But now, I don't know, maybe I've grown older and it would just hit me so much harder.
Nice. So, I guess revisiting old movies.
Yeah.
Like I said, this caught me by surprise too. Just watched the Christian Bale Batman trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved Batman Begins, minus the Katie Holmes part. Just the weakest link. That's all. You know what I mean? Like Maggie Gyllenhaal was obviously a better choice in the second film.
Yeah.
But I've always loved Batman Begins. I love origin stories, and I just love that one. I love the whole build up, the story. I find Batman Begins very emotional. So what I'm getting to is everybody has always just hailed Dark Knight as being the masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
I did not enjoy it. I don't think I even enjoyed it this time watching it.
Interesting.
It was like I felt like it was my least favorite out of the 3.
Yeah, I get it.
Which is really weird. I was more satisfied with the third one.
Yeah.
And I actually thought the Bane story and all that was a lot more emotional. And I thought the third one was actually the most emotional. I think it's funny, I think he succeeded. I think the third might have been the best.
Wow.
And but everyone else would probably disagree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to watch it again now, modern day, and the second one just was overkill.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I felt like they tried to cram too much in there, man.
Yeah, I agree.
They could have done 2 movies out of that.
I always have an experience when I see a Christopher Nolan for the first time. There's just too much to take in. Every time I see a Nolan film for the first time, I give up at some point. I'm like, my brain's done. My brain's full.
I thought I was going to like Dark Knight more, by the way, this last time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, like, I can't wait to watch this one again. You know, I remember it being really cool. I think I'm going to like it even more. And then I was surprised to find out I like it least.
Mm-hmm.
Just anyway, yeah. But the Christopher Nolan, man, thing.
Yeah. It seems like his different films have different layers of it, but it definitely... I did recently see The Dark Knight again, and I felt very similarly. Like, there's almost too much information happening all at once, too much storyline overlapping and too much quickly shoved in there where I can't just take it in subtly as a journey. But I'm curious about this, but Nolan, very similar to, I think, Denis Villeneuve, they want to make movies that have so much depth or even like puzzle piecing together that you actually have the intention you want to watch it many, many times. And you'll always catch something new. Or it's just like it'll stand the test of time. And maybe that's part of their voice or their niche, is they found a way to make movies that's going to make you want to watch them many, many times in the future. It's just not just like, okay, I've seen this before. I get the idea. You can always pick up more detail. You can always pick up something more. I recently watched Dunkirk, and then that's, of course,
Oh yeah.
I'm always picking up more every time I watch it.
I think I've seen that one twice. I really want to see it again.
It's awesome.
Which, oh, by the way, back to before, I want to Dunkirk. I know that one is also, I think, underrated. I think I didn't really hear anybody talking about it.
Yeah.
Dude, that one is heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like, I love that one because it was like the first time I felt like really seeing anything from that era through a different lens. He really showed it through a different perspective.
You really feel like you're there.
Yeah.
There's so much space and waiting involved, and the time stretch and the editing, and it's really cool. He intentionally didn't want you to see any enemies the entire time on screen. You don't actually see the enemy ever. I mean, you see their planes, sort of like, but those planes in the shots are really small usually. They're not really large and
Wow.
up front. You never see
I don't know if I noticed that, but
German soldier's face, so it's like it's really mysterious. Like, oh, they're just around the corner and they're coming.
That's what makes it more terrifying, man.
Yeah.
Always, wow.
It's brilliant.
It's like you took the old, horror movie,
You never
the good ones.
Yeah, you never get to see the wolf or the
Yeah.
aliens and signs. Yeah,
Yeah.
until the end or
Man.
something. Yeah, it's brilliant. You're afraid of what you can't see. Oh, I just saw a trailer. I think this director is really brilliant. He did Ex Machina. Seen that?
Yeah.
He did The Beach. He actually wrote the book, The Beach, and then turned it
Whoa.
into the... Oh, Danny Boyle made that into a movie.
Wait, he didn't direct it though.
He did. Danny Boyle. I think so.
Oh.
Pretty sure.
Okay.
And
Another favorite.
then Annihilation was terrifying. Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
God dang. So I just saw a trailer for his new movie. It's called Men.
Whoa.
And I was just
There
like,
you
oh God, what's this about? And I watched it. It's like the same way Darren Aronofsky's Mother is like this really strange psychedelic biblical story that I don't quite understand yet. It seems like he's creating this horror, really psychedelic story. It only seems like there's two characters in the movie, but one of them is Eve.
And one of them is a man whore.
Yeah.
Well, wait.
It's like the
I
devil.
get it. Horror. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
It's
Oh,
almost
man.
like, is she talking to God? Is she talking to Satan? Is she talking to Adam? And it's like the actor is all of them. And it's like they're eating the apple of the forbidden fruit. It's like, just the trailer just made me really creeped out, but I just want to see it so bad. But at the same time, I'm like, is it going to be woke?
Well, what's the last thing Danny Boyle did?
Well, it's not Danny Boyle. Alex Garland
Oh, okay.
is the director here.
That's
So
right. that's
Annihilation.
right.
What else did he do? Ex Machina. And then,
It could go.
I mean, Annihilation is like, there's
Yeah.
only women going in there.
Yeah.
To be the explorers.
Now, I've always been pro. I love the idea of women in a lead role in sci-fi movies, especially where it's something like
Alien.
exactly because that is the
You actually buy it.
the vulnerability.
Yeah.
You know, that's the vulnerability that makes it more terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be as scary if it were some like Schwarzenegger character. Actually, that's a perfect example.
Well, yeah.
You're not going to be. Have you ever seen a Schwarzenegger film and just been terrified that that something's gonna happen to that
Right.
big, huge, buff world champion
Well,
guy?
just imagine if Sigourney
Yeah.
Weaver, an alien, looked like Schwarzenegger, and
Yeah,
she's
that's
just
what I
gonna
mean,
kick
yeah.
everyone's ass, and she
Yeah.
kicks all the men's ass,
and all
it's
the
just like,
aliens.
she's gonna kill all them. It's just like a kick-ass woman. It's
Yep.
like, I'm not as scared of the
No.
alien right now.
So that's the genius of it. I love that. Yeah.
So, Alex Garland, pretty brilliant, also freaking disturbing. Both his movies, his most recent movies, really left me with a visceral disturbedness. So this looks even way more disturbing. And so he might be able to do one of those creative things where it's just like, it's about a woman, she's the main character, and it's about toxic masculinity, this demon man, and it's the Adam and Eve story. So it's like, oh, it can get the woke audiences in the door because it fits all the boxes of like men are evil and women are gonna rule the world and run the show. But he might be able to do it in a creative way where he's like, I'm gonna take you for a ride. I just got to get you in the door. You know?
Yep. Optimism is a good thing. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see it start spinning that way, considering I've seen it spin the other way, where they get you in the door really good, and then mid-season, then it goes woke.
Oh.
And you're like, you thought you were gonna like catch me into that, you know, but I spotted it. I could start seeing it before it starts to happen. I'm like, oh no, I know where this story's going. I know what's going to happen. Watch. The man ends up like failing. The woman ends up taking his place. She ends up like saving the day and ends up writing the symphony and whatever, commanding the orchestra, which this was anyway, yeah, it's just an example of one of many situations I've seen. It's just like, oh yeah, you can see the moment where it starts to shift, where it's like, I see where this is going. This is going toward woman saves the day and does it better than the man and saves the man.
Yeah.
It's cool if that's cool for a story, like one story, that's great. But like, it doesn't need to be every story now. You know what I mean?
Right. I am a huge fan of realism. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Realism.
On the realism thing, you're right. It also took me a little out of the movie on Dark Knight Rising, the Anne Hathaway character.
Oh my God.
That's the weak link in that movie. So now I'm starting to sound sexist saying the weak link in both those movies were women, but
they needed a strong female lead. I just have a thing with Anne Hathaway.
Me too.
It's just like, I feel like she's not I'm looking into her. I'm trying to read below her acting, and she just seems like a despicable person to me. I don't want to be a complainer or a judgmental person, but it's just like, why am I so bothered by her in Interstellar?
Well, she was in Interstellar.
Yeah.
Okay, least bothersome thing I've ever seen her in, I felt like.
Okay.
For that one. But you go ahead. Sorry, your thought there on that. I would continue it by saying that what I feel like about it is, I feel like I see, especially in like the role of her usually playing a badass woman, I feel like I'm watching somebody act like being a badass woman.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see someone acting being badass.
I want you to just...
That's why, what's her name? Gina Carano in The Mandalorian. Dude, that got kicked off because of the woke movement. They literally had the best female empowered, strong female character you can have in anything today.
Yeah. Because
she's actually a strong badass. She actually can kick your ass.
She's actually like that.
And she's
not acting to be.
So the moment you saw it happen, even though when they first introduced her character, it was a total woke scene because she basically jumps out and starts beating down the male character. But it's like, yeah, this is believable though. You know what I mean? Like, and so Disney, thanks to female leadership in Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, just ruining Star Wars in general. This is where feminism now has gotten to the point of where they're actually just eating themselves. It's like they've gotten rid of their best strong female character.
Okay.
Just like that. Like, you're literally anti-feminist now. You're so woke that you've gone dumb.
Gosh. Yeah, we think we can just like rush to the future with how progressive we are, and then we have to one up each other and how much more progressive we are and how much like interesting and how evolved we are until it destroys all of culture, permeates and destroys something that we can all agree on. It's like, what are we even talking about anymore? There's no boxes, there's no lines, there's not even spectrums of colors anymore. It's like, you can't say that's blue because that's bluest. What about the red people? It's like, that's the spectrum of yellow. It's just like, hey, there is a rainbow spectrum, right? Can we still have a spectrum? Or
yeah. Are we starting to understand that by focusing on all of this, We are not even here anymore on the planet living life. We've literally, like, I think people are starting to be like, whoa, dude, this has gotten to the point where, like, this is just ridiculous. Like, why don't everybody just shut up and go live your lives? Like, we've gotten so entrenched in this nonsense, and that it's like it's all we focus on all day long, every day. Wow, what a psyop.
I was just talking to my roommate the other day, and I just kind of spat out some crazy idea, but it actually, when I said it, felt like it made sense. That I remember when we were younger, we were growing up, let's say in high school or college or something, and you can have debates, you can have nuanced conversations, and you can actually discover these very interesting unknown places just by having a conversation with someone. And you take each other out of each other's boxes, and you get to share this amazing unknown space where you could get to kind of experience these subtle realms that aren't in a box at all. And it's an amazing experience. And I think what's going on nowadays is because of algorithms. The moment there's a spectrum, the algorithm says, well, is it this box or this box? If this, then that. That's what an algorithm does. So pretty much all of our lives is consumed by a screen and information showing us what we want to buy and what we want to entertain ourselves with. It's all to a grid algorithm. So now all of a sudden, we've lost the subtle branches of spectrum in our neurons, and now our neurons are mirroring what we're seeing in algorithms. That's all we're fed with.
It's the echo chamber, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's almost like, let's say our brain structure was like a branch of a tree.
But I get what you're saying
like
about
feathers.
the brain. That's genius. Yeah.
So it's almost like branches of a tree or feathers, and all of a sudden now we look like squares.
We're actually
of
having
algorithms.
synapses and things that are not being used, that are dying off. And so now when anything that comes contrary to what, the brain has actually gotten like dumber.
More black and white.
Yeah, more black and white. Yeah, and so anything that comes that isn't on your spectrum is an immediate threat.
Right. It's just like, what? I don't know where this lies. I don't know where this should click into. It's so much of this or that thinking. And I remember I've seen this in my own brain when I just started watching YouTube a lot more, and especially when I moved to Portland. And I feel like something happened with algorithms and social media. It's like, maybe you'll like this, maybe you like this. And all of a sudden it lost any flavor of something resembling like aesthetic, ethnic, eclectic culture. It was just like, well, you like this stuff, so we're going to give you more of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I kind of want all of it. I don't want just this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm watching, even the way I listen to someone having a conversation with me, and immediately I need to place it. I need to categorize it. Like, what kind of person are you? I don't like seeing this in myself, but I'm seeing it in myself, where I immediately have to place you somewhere. I have to place something categorically in my brain when it used to just be, I want to have this experience and just watch this for what it is. Now we have to categorize it.
I feel like now we have to do it because it's actually coming from it's coming from this almost a self-preservation survival place, because
we have to keep up with culture, sort
of. Immediately placing someone into a box. For example, I have to look at somebody now and come to a quick conclusion. Is this person a leftist or someone who's woke, that if I say the wrong thing is immediately going to get offended and then try to ruin my life because of it?
My reputation and my career.
So it's like now it's almost coming from this place of like, I have to do it for survival.
Yeah.
Like, if I can't just go talk to a person or anyone, or just maybe, just say uninhibited things that come to my mind without the thought or worry of this person's going to try and destroy my life because I say something that offends them or they don't agree with.
Totally.
That's not right. That's not how it should be.
No way.
I mean, if you're so pathetic of a person that you're trying to ruin somebody else's life because they said something you don't like, then you really got to get some fucking hobbies, dude.
Yeah. It's like Canonadable to the extreme.
Man.
Or I was listening to a Tim Ferriss podcast today, and he was interviewing a man who grew up in China, and he was saying his dad and his parents, something like this, were really careful about saying the wrong things or doing the wrong things because you can get arrested. And he was saying that people made up stories about his father that were untrue, that brought down his reputation, because if you have more judgments of other people that are bad, all of a sudden now you stand more supported by the cause.
Mm.
And it's like, even if you have to make up stories and put down and destroy someone else's life, now you have more merit to the cause and people will trust you more. And now it's like, now I have less of a chance of ever being destroyed or disappeared or taken away because I put down this other person. All I have to do is destroy this one person's life or many people's lives as long as I'm protected. It's just crazy fear tactics.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, you're right. It actually becomes like they probably are unconsciously realizing that every person they take down, whether it's with truth or a lie, is another thing they can point to support their cause and saying, look, I was right. There is a neo-Nazi white supremacist problem in this country. Look, because there's another one. We just dealt with them, even if it is a fraction of a percent of people of the actual population. You know what I mean? But as long as you can keep, every time you find one, you can make sure everybody knows you took that one down because, look, there's another one, then we can continue to believe there's this problem.
Self-fulfilling prophecies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had frozen yogurt today.
Awesome.
And as if this is going to make the topic lighter. No, it's going to get worse right now. And it was just after high school had gotten let out. We got there at like 2:30. And it's like, so there were like high school kids in there. And I noticed at one point, like, one girl was a black girl. But nobody gives a shit. And she wasn't different or viewed differently than anybody else. I only noticed it because of everything going on. So now I need to pay attention to every black person in society and how they're being treated or if they feel okay. And it's like, no, she's just another high school girl with her friends hanging out. Nobody cares. That's how it is. 99.9% of people do not care about your skin color because we are living in the 21st century now. Yeah, it's still the 21st century.
I'm going to grab some Brute. Can you keep
talking? I guess I can.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. And we're living in a time now where I think most people can dig a little deeper than just skin surface. You know, I mean, again, Martin Luther King was preaching it all the way back then, judge not by the color of the skin, but by character. I think we've all had that pounded into our heads well enough now to actually understand that and live it. It's just, I don't understand why anybody today would be so dumb to actually judge somebody by the color of their skin. Like, yeah, you can judge somebody by the clothes they're wearing, by how they're holding themselves and the way they're acting. And, that I think that's a valid judgment because that's an outward expression of themselves that they've chosen. You see? So that's why people can say, just because sometimes certain clothing styles and things correlate with a skin color still doesn't make it racist if you see that person and you don't want to walk on the same side of the street as someone who looks like a gangster because they are dressing themselves in a way that is saying, I am identifying with a certain culture that has been known to be violent and dangerous. It's as simple as that. It has nothing to do with the skin color. Now it's a rosé. There you go. That's sort of a rant. I mean, people. I mean, man, I have black friends.
What you said about
no one ever cared.
Yeah.
No one cares. I mean,
it's funny.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I know.
Man,
we all had different colored and race friends.
Nobody ever cared, dude.
Yeah, no.
And this was 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Yeah. I was in Portland right around the time George Floyd got killed. And all the Portlanders were protesting, and I was walking down the street. I was like, there's something in the air. Something's different. I don't know what's going on. And then I heard about the riots and all the stuff that's going on. And where did George Floyd get killed? It was like Wisconsin?
Memphis?
It was Minnesota?
It was one of those
Missouri.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, go ahead though. I'll find
Well-
it. I'll find it. Just curious.
Anyway, I was calling my brother and I was like, yeah, there's riots breaking out in Portland here. My brother was like, why did people in Portland care about what's going on in Wisconsin? Or like so far away.
Minneapolis.
Minnesota. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. But it was right around that time and I was walking home. I was going to the park. Maybe I got some milk or groceries or something. I was walking home and I was walking across the street. And then, there's people walking on the street, and then I crossed the road and went to go get on my block to go home. And then I heard across the street, "You have a nice day as well." And I was like, what? And I looked over, and there was a young gentleman, just happened to be black. And I was like, oh. And I like backtracked a little bit, and we were walking toward each other, and I walked across the street because I had to go home to my block. But in his mind, I walked across the street to get away from him because he was black. And I felt threatened in his mind. And it didn't even cross my mind until I was like, what just happened? And there's like, oh, he feels that I was a judgmental white person because he's black. And he's like, this white person's nervous and scared. So he has to cross the street because he can't trust me because I'm black. And it's just like, it took me so
crazy, man.
I just like, I didn't get it until a few seconds later. I'm like, oh, that's what he was.
And you weren't even aware of any of this.
Didn't even realize.
Yeah.
And I was like, gosh, things are so heated right now. And I don't want
He
it
made
to...
up an entire scenario in his head.
Yeah.
Which then he can go off and say, proof, I experienced this today.
Right.
Some guy was
he might tell a bunch of people, I had this experience today. This white guy crossed the street because he didn't want to cross paths with a black guy. Me. I mean, that might have been his story. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the way he said, his response to you, yelling that to you across the street implies pretty much everything you just said.
Yeah, it's almost like people who don't...
Or wait. Actually, that'd be racist. Maybe he was just wishing you a nice day.
Right. Now we're the racist ones.
He's just literally like just the kindest man. He's like, hey, you know what? You have a nice day.
Yeah, that's just his vocal tone.
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks, man. I think I even said that. I was like, oh, thanks, you too. And I was like, that was a strange tone. You have a good day as well. I was like, I never wished him a good day. I was listening to Kevin Samuels today. I've heard him come up on Your Mom's House, Tom Segura's and his wife's podcast. That guy's hilarious.
Wow. First of all, yeah, I watched it too, man. And we're going to watch it after this.
Good.
I want Sylvie to see it because it is not only hilarious, but the most brutal thing, dude, I've ever seen anybody be to these three women calling in.
So hard to
Dude,
watch and
not
listen
only
to
that,
it.
the women were sweet.
I
They
know,
all
they're
three
so
are so
nice.
sweet.
I
And
know.
he doesn't, dude, he doesn't.
Bashes them.
He's not even being nice to them
Yeah, he's
for a
not.
second. It's almost like, wow.
No
Jeez,
compassion.
man. I'm like, God, you could actually, no candy coating at all.
I think it's so funny because there's a lot of people who have these talk shows where it's just like, hey, like, what's his name? Dave Ramsey. He's like, these are your steps to get out of debt. And you can, this is what you got to do. Follow the baby steps. There's something you can do. You live off of rice and beans. You pay off your credit cards. You get out of debt. He gives you something very practical steps of something you can do. But for these women, there's not much they can do to change their physical appearance.
Yeah.
Like
Man.
they're born that way. They probably have a certain body structure, genealogy. And it's just like he's yelling at them.
Yeah.
Like, this is your problem. And they're just like, well, what can I do?
I work out. Yeah.
What can I do about it?
But yeah, he's like, seriously, all you can do is think differently. That's all he's telling them. Lower their standards.
Yeah.
And think differently.
You are delusional. You are overweight woman.
Man.
You are not average. You are below average.
God, man.
So
Crazy.
Oh my God.
But I do kind of like the way he questions them.
Yeah.
You can tell, I can tell he already where he wants to go with it. So you can tell that he's like, I can see 10 steps or 5 steps ahead of where he's going. And he does too. He's got it already planned out. And he knows he's going to get here. He's just going to ask this, then this, then this. Okay, then this. And then he's going to just drop this bomb.
Yeah.
And it's like, ouch, man.
You know, it's funny. It's like he's so clear on his message. He's got a one-track mind. He's a good communicator.
Let's just repeat his name again.
Kevin Samuels.
Yeah. So we weren't. Yeah.
He gives women advice on how to get married and stay married, stuff like that. How to be claimed by a high value man. I think that's what his main message is. So he's talking to a lot of women.
That's his main message? Then you think? So this is why I was wondering. He's got 1.1 million followers on Instagram.
He's got wife school, like how to learn
this
to
is
be
why
a
it's
wife
all
school.
these women that are following him. Okay, yeah.
So he does have dudes call in every once in a while and be like, "Oh man, you were so right. Like I got this girl. She took all my money and like bought all these drinks."
Funny. You keep going. There's a funny quote from that video we were watching.
But I was listening to a few more of his videos today, and it seems like he's trying to deliver a message to the black woman community, because he says that black women have it really bad, and they've got a problem. Why is it like black women have certain problems more than others? He's kind of like, they have a lot of babies. They're kind of like lower on the Tinder. They're like the least swiped demographic on Tinder, along with Chinese men.
Oh man, I know. But
it's brutal.
I know it is brutal, man. I mean, the sexual marketplace value is it's brutal. It's a cold fact. I remember when I had realized this. Is it the cable now?
I'm just rubbing it against my jeans. I'm trying not to rub it.
I remember realizing this on Kauai, man, and it was kind of like, I was getting really tired of I couldn't understand why all these women just kept going for all these douchebag surfers all the time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, well, it's because they got higher sexual marketplace value. They're all like shredded and like oozing, testosterone and stuff. And they're like, that's like a high value to that particular market.
Yeah.
And then I think we actually kind of surpassed that value. I was saying by coming in and showing two young guys who were actually very skilled in singing and playing great music actually put us on another level.
Huh, I guess
an interesting level. I mean, we got a lot of attention.
We did. From my perception, I would think that your common person on Kauai is running away from a lot of stuff, maybe pretty shallow, maybe just wants to like listen to reggae, smoke pot, and surf and stuff. I think you and me were coming from a more contemplative, wise place. And
but
maybe
at least
that's got us attention.
But there's plenty of that around there too, because that's all of your spiritual hippie guys. But what we had was actual, which actually had value, which we had talent and skill.
Interesting. Yeah.
We had something that we were demonstrating to the actual community we're living in. We had something of value to offer, and that when men have value, that gave us. That puts them in a position of power and puts them in a position of being attractive to females.
I think I heard someone say that when a woman sees a man who's doing something that takes a lot of time, that's hard to take, that takes dedication or skill, it's attractive because it's like, wow, that man is patient, he's productive, he's willing to move through fortitude to build something. So it's like it's attractive. It can be.
Yeah.
You and I. A lot of women can be shallow in a lot of ways. It's like, I'm not dating a man unless he's over 6'3".
Yeah.
And we weren't blessed with endowment of height.
Nope.
And it never really bothered me until I had a really tall girlfriend, and she like bend over to hug me. I'm like, just don't bend over, please. Just hug me being tall. And she was a little taller woman. She was like. She had that long, lengthy, model statuesque. She was an ex-stripper, but
it is it's a double-edged sword for sure. I know. I mean, it's like I know it. I know. I got a taller wife, and those things kind of suck. Like she can't just lean onto my shoulder. She's got to like hunch over. It makes me feel like a dwarf.
But I think it's classy when you've got a classy, beautiful woman who's statuesque and she's dressing up nice, and you go out in public and people might look at her and then like look at the man she's with, and it's like, whoa, that guy's like, he's short, he's nothing special, but it's like he must be baller because look at his wife. So I think it's like when you've got that, it's kind of like
that's a benefit. And like you said, I do enjoy the I actually enjoy her being taller. I enjoy the figure, the longer figure.
Totally.
So I mean, I don't really care. It's amazing. Yeah, for me, I used to limit myself in thinking that I had to have a woman that was shorter than me. That was the only way I could think. I would not accept it. I would not have a woman that was taller than me. I could never have a woman that was taller than me.
Yeah.
And that was just imposing limitations on myself. Which,
come a long way.
yeah. Yeah. Speaking of, here's that quote, which is really funny. He said, "Men have never said, 'Look at that average-looking woman, but goddamn, I bet she's got a degree.'"
Yeah. I remember that part. That's like one of the top
I know.
upvoted.
Yeah, comments. I know. I love it.
It's just like, she's nothing special, but dude, she's a PhD. Oh my God, bro, she's a PhD.
I know.
Dang.
I mean, it's just, that's what's crazy, man. Like, yeah, man, it's just funny. I think he even said it like, it's what we are. You know what I mean? Like, I know that the world's been trying to change men for the last, however many years, 15 years at least. They've been trying to change men to be something they aren't. And we've seen this happen now. And now we're seeing a demasculated race of men. And I don't know if that's a good thing, because I think very soon women are going to be screaming for masculinity to come back.
Yeah, I don't know where I heard this. It was a podcast, but men's taints are growing shorter, which happens in gerbils and hamsters.
Taint? The taint?
The taint, the actual distance between their butthole and their balls. And that's an indicator of way too high stretch estrogen and not enough testosterone. And
until eventually the butthole moves underneath and becomes a pussy.
Yes, exactly.
Evolution at its finest.
But man, I wish I remember where I heard this, but apparently men's penises are getting smaller, taints are getting smaller, and the same thing happens with gerbils and hamsters when you experiment with taking away their testosterone or upping their estrogen. Also, I heard that we ingest a credit card's worth of plastic that gets leached into our blood every week. So it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Might have been on Joe Rogan, but
I did see you're right, the microplastics thing. You saw that, right?
I think so.
Yikes. It's pretty scary.
But God bless all these men who are so confused and they don't know what they're supposed to be. And it's just like, it's not cool to be a masculine man. We don't even know what masculine is anymore because it's tied with toxicity.
Yeah.
Because it's tied with evil. Because it's tied with oppressive, tyrannical, racist rapists. And it's just like, wait a second. I feel like I had an epiphany today where the reason why I brought up Kevin Samuels, he's just like, it's so much about your attitude. And this is something my mom and dad would always say all the time. It's about your attitude. And that is, to me, the amount of complaining you have, the amount of negativity you express. And it's almost like when you hear someone just complaining all the time, they're dirtying up the room. The space now feels like a rotten egg. It doesn't smell like flowers anymore. The fragrance is now tainted in this space because your attitude of complaining is tainting this room. And I feel like everything we're seeing now on social media with the algorithms, genders are divided, the left and the right, the blue and the red are divided. And everyone's complaining and pointing fingers. And I'm trying to find a place to bring it back to what if your message is how much you freaking love the essence of what women are, and you love what a true woman stands for, and you can't hold back your appreciation and your love and passion and reverence for what it is to be a woman, because ultimately a true woman is someone that feels like home, is someone that will comfort you, will love you unconditionally. And can we celebrate that and revere that and praise that? We forgot what it is.
Yeah.
And the same goes for women who truly love a man and wants to serve a man and give a man and praises true masculinity. That feels like home. She knows that a man is supposed to feel like home.
Guess I gotta find a new wife.
Nothing? No facial expression.
No, that's right. She doesn't listen to us.
Okay. But it's like, Can we just stop the complaining and pointing fingers on the left and the right of men and women and just stop the war and being like, hey, we're forgetting what we truly desire and what we truly need is that femininity is sacred and we need it.
Yeah.
Masculinity is sacred and we need it.
Well, you're right. This is the natural balance of things. So, exactly. It's like, and by the way, the complaining thing, the problem with it is we've become so self-indulgent that we actually now celebrate complaining.
Right.
So
I'm a better complainer than you are.
All the loudest complainers, they get the most views, and it's like complaining has become trendy. It's so hot right now, Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like I know I definitely complained a lot in my life. I've had my times. I don't complain anymore too much, do I? I don't complain. I might vocalize.
You vent a little bit.
But
it's nowhere like
venting's different though. I love to vent.
Oh yeah. Well, it's nowhere like you used to be.
Yeah. I used to be a pretty good complainer.
I remember a night like I had to walk away and just express like, there's too much negativity, dude. You're very negative and you speak it out and you vocalize it a lot. I just gotta walk away for a bit.
Was that? Yeah. That was probably back in the Shack days, huh?
Yeah. I think that was in the Princeville Center at somewhere behind Tiki Niki.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. So now I feel like I don't complain. If anything, I just vocalize my, feeling so tired all the time.
I mean, we're living in this culture today.
Yeah.
You can get so frustrated and you can just get tied into the storm. You just watch the bull crap what's going on. And you're just like, that's triggering. And then you have to like vocalize it and complain. And we've lost sight of what we truly want and what we truly desire. All of a sudden, we just like, we're sucked in by something that's clickbaity and has the reaction of, what's the word I'm looking for? Shock value. Shock. It's like we're triggered by shock. It's like, wait a second, slow down. You forgot what you truly value and desire.
First of all, that's it. That's what we're missing on this channel. That's what we need to get views. We need shock value.
Get it out, bro. Whip it out.
Did it work? No, it's okay. My penis is too small because I've lost my taint has also
too much plastic
shriveled up. Exactly.
In his diet. We should just put.
Actually, that is shock value. No one wants to see a large cock anymore. If I had I had a micro penis,
you know what?
We should
take a picture of your penis and put it on as a thumbnail to this video on YouTube. And you won't even be able to see it, so you can't get flagged. There's no penis in there, but it's like we took a straight up picture of your genitals. So it's like it's going to be shock value, but we won't get flagged because you can't see it. Should we do that?
You'll see. This is no longer called the blowhole. It's called the
micro pecker?
The micro hole. The micro pecker hole, yeah. And now we've gone dirty on this show.
Hey.
No longer for kids.
I'm really trying to figure out, like, reclaim the essence of what it is to be a human, what it is to be a man, what it is to be a woman. We've forgotten it. We're so twisted. We're so flipped upside down in so many ways in our culture. And we feel like we need to be a part of the argument and the war. And it's just like, can we just go in the woods for a few weeks? And it's like, what do I really think? What do I really desire for my life? What do I desire for my family? Do I even want a partner? What do I desire for my partner? And this was so upsetting to me when I actually had the essence of feeling what I want in a wife and a partner and what a true woman feels like to me. It was like homecoming, and it was so sad because it's been so long since I've experienced the essence of a true, beautiful woman who's owning her divine femininity, because it's been so twisted and tainted now, where a woman feels like she needs to be successful and overcome the man and be more empowering and more successful. It's like, wait a second.
Because that's exactly, they've lost femininity. I don't want to cut you off.
It's almost like, it's almost like they don't value it. They're seeing it as not.
Sorry, I didn't mean feminicity. I mean authenticity. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, why did we put so much flack on femininity? Why is that a bad thing? And why are we saying that masculine is the oppressive, more powerful one? Whoever said that? It's like, what if we need each other? What if we actually need You can't have one without the other.
I mean, geez, man. Yin and yang, right?
Yeah. Nothing exists except in relationship to everything else. It almost takes true, almost unconditional humility to be like, I'm not everything I could be, to borrow a phrase from Jordan Peterson, and the best way I could be my most beautiful, self-realized self is surrendering to what a true woman requires me to be and brings that out of me.
That's kind of what this Kevin whatever is kind of trying to that's the message he's kind of trying to give them.
Nice. Yeah.
You know, it's like, I mean, it's cool, man. Like, again, just like the skin color thing, nobody cares. So if it really is your path to go trailblaze and climb the corporate ladder and become the CEO, you know, if you're a woman and this is your path, nobody cares, dude. Do it. Everyone, whether they realize it or not, unconsciously loves somebody following their path and being authentic about it. What people fucking hate is when you're following a path that is not for you.
Somebody else's path.
Yeah,
Someone else's value structure.
And when it's just not authentically you. So, example, we've talked about this before. Just an example on an entirely separate thing, like when you move to Hawaii and you suddenly start speaking like a local. That's not you.
Yeah.
That's not authentically you.
No way.
And the locals will not like you for it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like if you're a woman and you are authentically, you naturally do not want those things, but you've been indoctrinated to believe you do want those things. So you start following you start following a path that is not right for you, but one that you've been told is right for you. Then you're most likely going to find yourself not being liked that much.
Yeah.
Probably throughout your life. And this goes with anyone, men, women, anyone not following an authentic path. Yeah, you'll find yourself probably being slightly annoying to a lot of people because you're not being authentic.
Totally. This is the thing, is that that's someone living to what someone else calls success. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to choose that path because that's what the world says is successful. The true essence of success is really sitting down and being really honest with yourself and saying what success is to me. Actually, it's not $1 million a year. It's actually $70K, around there. And if I make more than that, I won't be happier. But that's nice. That's a good number.
$70K and a lot of time off to spend with my kids or something like that.
Traveling abroad twice a year, having a little designed cottage with plenty of space in the woods to chop wood and, you know, have fires and bonfires, quality wine cellar to celebrate with my friends, and, you know, a freezer full of venison that my friends hunted. It's just like, that's about it. It sounds beautiful. And maybe have, you know, your 1,000 true fans, have a following, and, you know, to me, I think completely owning my gifts and owning my values and actually having a message that's so timeless, that's so resonant to me, it actually resonates with a lot of other people. And if you have 1,000 true fans that will go you to the ends of the earth, I love what you stand for, I love what you're saying, that's priceless. And that means when you have those 1,000 true fans, you can now live remote, because you can now live in the woods wherever you want, because as long as you are being your authentic voice and speaking it out and creating the content that's just naturally your productivity of the pacing you want to go at, because it's so authentic. It feels right in the balance. You are living a true, authentic, successful life. You're not listening to society standards of success. You've nailed it to what it is to you. You're taking action on inspiration when intuition is calling you to, like, take that next step and that next action. I don't mean to interrupt it if you want to have a thought, but I've been being really drilled with intuitions the last couple weeks. It's just like I'm getting back injuries. I'm making a mess of the kitchen, and then something saying, slow down. I got not a speeding ticket. I ran a stop sign. I got pulled over for the first time in my life by a police woman, and she gave me a ticket for blowing through a stop sign. It's like, slow down, just freaking stop. Just freaking stop. And I've been trying to get to the place of success. I've been trying to reach and push and force to success, and I'm going to get there. And all of a sudden, I'm getting sick. I'm breaking my back. I'm getting tickets from the police because I'm not in the current, I'm not in the wave speed, in the current of consciousness. I'm not in the pattern of success, because success is at a very subtle, listening, paying attention pace, a speed. It's a current that has a very specific pace. And if I'm pushing on the front of the wave, I'm going to break something. I'm going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
If I'm on the back of the wave, I might get depressed and lazy and apathetic. I got to be right in the center of the wave.
Dude.
And when I'm on the center of the wave, I can't tell you how many synchronicities when I'm really writing in my journal, all the podcasts, all the books, people are recommending this thing. It's all saying the same thing, that success is actually the easiest thing in the world. You just pay attention. You pay attention. So this is the thing. This is my point. There's the yin and the yang. The Western culture is like success, self-help, push, hustle. Wait a second.
I know where you're going.
That's force, okay? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, everything that's being put in my face is saying rest, relax, slow down. And the word that keeps coming is finesse. Finesse, don't force. Because finesse, when you drop a tiny drip every day, compounded, is better than putting in 110% once a week.
Nice.
110% once a week. I'm going to break my back. I'm going to push. And I'm trying to get somewhere that's not the present moment. I'm pushing in time. I'm pushing against the future. I'm pushing against myself. I'm pushing my stress and my sleep and my eating and my over drinking to get to that place of success. And when I just relax and rest and take a vacation, take a sabbatical, I actually take off work for a week and I rest and take baths, I actually eat the right amount. I start drinking less. I start sleeping better. My back heals up. Actually, all these people are calling me because they want my services. They want me to play at the wedding. They want me to play on Saturday, I'm playing a girl's first birthday party.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And this is like, I've never been called to play music for a...
Damn, you must be loaded.
But it's just like this, a time and time again. Thank you for letting me rant.
Actually, just to sum that up with you, I would say everything I'm talking about can be just described as it's the push and the pull. You know, it's like you're listening. It's this fine balance between knowing when to push hard and go, and then the moment you realize you're suddenly trying to force things, so you have to let go, and then you kind of pull back. You know, you're pushing, you're pulling back, and it's this constant balance. That is it's the game of trying to stay on that wave or stay into what Abraham Hicks describes as the vortex. If you're right. It's so easy to just get on that
order of chaos, right in the balance.
Yeah, like you want to stay right in there, and it's tough. It's tough.
It takes listening.
Yes, exactly.
Patience.
You got to be paying attention. And it's hard to pay attention in a world full of distractions that are meant to purposely distract you, so you're not paying attention. The less people that are in the vortex, or the less people that are paying attention, the easier they are to control. They have no power.
Oh, good point.
If you're a fool that is constantly pushing when you should be laying back, then you've lost your power. You have no more power anymore. You're just expending energy, as you've said.
Yeah.
You're injuring yourself. Mm-hmm. You're meeting the wrong people. You're in the wrong place. It's just, affliction and all sorts of pain. And
affliction and infliction.
Yeah, exactly. And so, that's what they want. I'd say that this is on a spiritual level, a big conspiracy to keep the majority of the population out of that middle ground of being truly empowered.
Totally. If you can keep people distracted enough, they forget where the middle is.
Yeah.
They forget where the true place of power is, because that true place of power, you can't control it.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, you now have influence. All of a sudden, now you are very likable, lovable, and shiny and glowing and illuminating. And all of a sudden, everything you say is speaking the truth. And it's like, whoa, this guy over here, he's dropping some truth bombs. And all of a sudden,
right.
Wait. Keep you distracted, because we can now sell you anything. Now we can, Wow, dude.
Imagine exactly
Right in the center of masculine and femininity,
Imagine if
order
a-
or chaos. That's true power. Listening, paying attention.
Yep.
I just got to throw in one more thing
Sure.
to finish up my thought. There are things that the force. So finesse, don't force. The Western world of force wants you to hustle, wants you to push, wants you to like wake up earlier and have your daily ritual and routine.
And the Eastern wants you to withdraw and do nothing. So you're right. It's a balance between West and East.
So all these practices of force, it's like exercise harder, push harder, influence harder, but the practices of finessing, it's so funny. I heard a audiobook today that said the same thing. That's what I've been thinking for weeks. The practices of finesse is resting, pausing, breathing, meditating. You can actually achieve so much more just by sitting still in silence than you could trying to plan out your entire day and fitting so much in that day. When you meditate, you all of a sudden find the right times of day when you have the energy to do the most efficient productive things. You know, the 80-20 principle. 20% of what you're doing is actually creating 80% of your results. And I feel like meditation puts you where you actually genuinely, enjoyingly want to do the 20% that's actually the most effective. And you're not distracting your day full of force and stress and dealing with things that are superfluous and unnecessary and excessive. You are now in the zone of patience because you have everything already. If you do experience the moment of success and victory and triumph, you're going to experience it in the present moment. You're going to experience it and you realize you never gained anything and you never lost anything. I've had it all already. Why didn't I just sit back and enjoy it? Why can't I just be here right now? The finesse is just owning your success already. You've got it all, kid. You've got it already, kid. There's nothing you need to do. Just be patient and put in the drop of water daily.
Like at the end of Don't Look Up, that movie that recently came out.
We had it all.
Yeah, we had it all. You know, we had everything. And that's a realization I think a lot of people probably come to, you know, when they are suddenly confronted in the final moments. It's like, oh, shit. This was it. This was everything.
We were trying to get somewhere else.
Yeah.
We're trying to get to heaven, to enlightenment, trying to get to riches, or the perfect soulmate. And it's just like, hey.
I mean, you never get the perfect soulmate. I mean, look at my wife.
You got it.
I got to keep throwing these in.
Take my wife. Please take her.
Oh, man.
I love my wife. Remember from Man on the Moon?
Oh, yeah. That's another one I got to rewatch, actually.
Oh, man. So good.
I only seen it once.
Oh, gosh.
Yep, definitely. Well, what do we got? Yeah, it's time. We
got some good points in. Thanks for listening to our rants. If you made it this far, really appreciate it. We're, we just want you to feel like you're at home, enjoying some good old drinks with the boys in front of the fireplace with the dogs lounging around. I mean, let us know if there's something we can do to the decor or the tone of our voices to make you feel more a part of the conversation, like you're more, just lounging with the boys on a hard day after work or something.
Yeah. This decor we don't do anything special for you. I want you to understand that. This is just my living room, and I just busted out the light and camera. So, yeah, I don't know. I like it, but it's using my photography gear, and I don't have a place to permanently have things set up. Maybe you give us enough subscribers, and maybe we'll set up a permanent place, make it look real cool, make it real high production, as if this wasn't already.
Yeah, it's evolving. It's evolving over time. Let us know what you like. If you're actually listening to this, man, you're the best. Let us know what you'd like to see. How do you like to feel?
Yeah, or if you just want us to fuck off. I mean, that's cool too, Yeah, all right. I'm Brian Geiger.
I'm Cam Goodman. See ya.
Yep, see ya on the blowhole.
Thank you.